I think it'd be easier to sit there and fire on them at range. But I guess you're not learning the same lessons that Gantz and Schultz didn't learn when they rammed you, and now you're ramming, essentially, because I assume that mines are going to move into the way. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back with another episode of Space Battleship Yamato. We're 10 episodes in. I think there's, 40 episodes in this? 40-ish episodes in this show. We've just escaped the solar system. We've battled our way out of the solar system. It looked like on the map of their chart of their warping plan, it looked like they were going to warp out of the galaxy, and there was like a sphere or something in the middle between our galaxy and I forget if it was the lesser or greater Magellanic Cloud. I think it was lesser because I think that's the closer one. Anyway, and then the path goes from there into the cloud, which is apparently where Gamilas and Iskander are, because they're a dual system. But I don't really know. He says it's a long jump. I don't know if we're actually going the whole way in one, so we'll find out. I'm not even in my notes section yet. What the hell am I doing? We have a board. Let's do the board first. And with the board comes a board changelog, where I've added Shima's parents, and then I added Kikuku, Hikoshichi, and Akio Tokugawa, essentially the chief engineer's family. Yeah, a board reminder of what we're fighting for, just like the episode that they come from. And just a few notes, so let's go ahead and get into those. So Toto sends an emergency message to the Yamato that turns out to be no emergency at all, but just a continuing status report about how bad things are on Earth. Something I have to believe that the Yamato crew is already aware of, given the ticking clock on their mission to begin with. I have to believe that this is more for the viewer, to remind them of the stakes, as it makes little sense in show for the EDF to waste resources just to possibly depress their last hope of survival. By depress, I mean make them sadder. You don't want your crew that's already sad about the state of events to be constantly reminded when they have just a moment's respite of happiness that, hey, we defeated Pluto base, that sort of thing. I get what they are doing with Kodai and Okita, showing their restlessness at having no one to communicate with back on Earth due to the losses that they've already incurred. But the purpose of communicating back was to raise the spirits of the people of Earth by learning about the Yamato. They mostly did this via personal communications with the crew to their families, but given that this is the last time a transmission is going to be able to be made, and what the EDF commander said, Okita really should have been recording a general transmission to address the general population about the purpose of the Yamato's journey and how they would succeed, or even talk about their success against the Pluto base. Kodai could have helped him as well. I get that this is their shared depression sort of thing, and a moment of bonding, but they really should have done something for the people of Earth as well. Beyond that, though, does this mean that his daughter-in-law is dead too? Or that he just doesn't wish to, she doesn't wish to speak to him? I guess it also could work the other way. He just doesn't want to talk to her. Because remember, the picture that I use for his son who's dead includes the daughter-in-law in it. Like, I could have used the picture from the last episode, which only had him, but she's there, so I could have talked to her about him. Kodai is really the only one with no one to talk to if she is in fact still alive. Just an odd observation. Shima's dad and Tokugawa's son were both standing in the same way, clutching their arms like that. I'd think it was likely the same model reused to save money, but trying to explain it in world, I have to wonder if these might also be meant to indicate that they are also ill from the radiation. The crossover of conversations is also really depressing. Kodai's parents said that 3 of Jiro's friends are sick with the radiation poisoning. Then Yuki's mother goes on about how her daughter's generation needs to have more kids. It's an extremely bleak look towards the future of humanity, even if the Yamato is successful. A bit of a spoiler, but I guess one that just doesn't mean anything out of explaining what's going on in the background. The subtitlers at the end of the episode note that there will be no female crew from this moment forward, except for Yuki. They're supposedly sleeping. Don't fuck that means. And my last note here, also another translator note. Central Command expected the Yamato to spend 20 days leaving the solar system, but it took 48 days. This isn't technically a note, but in congruency with that, I will say that my timeline now is up to November 27th. The Yamato leaves the solar system, sends final messages back home, 315 days left. As opposed to last time we took a note of the date, which was November 4th. Pluto base, fleet destroyed, Schultz, Gantz die, 338 days left. So, yeah, that is all my notes about Yamato. So, nothing left to do but hop on in and see what this episode bears in store for us.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Decision: enter the outer defensive lines of Gamilas. I guess that goes to imply that we are just going straight to the Lesser Magellanic Cloud, or whichever Magellanic Cloud we're actually going to, right? However, well, I mean, the outer... The problem here is that the implication is that Gamilas, much like the Bosnians from Voltace 5, are implied to have a giant space empire, right? Like, the Bosnians in Voltace 5 are said to conquer galaxies, right? They got that chief thing going for them, from episode 1. I think that comes out 4 or 5 years after this. Sorry, this is 1974. That comes out 3 to 4 years after this. And yet, when we go into space, we encounter 2 fights with them in space, and then we're on the planet winning. So I'm hoping that our first jump out into interstellar space, we just run into them, and that's the outer line of defense. That we just don't go straight for Gamilas, and then we're there, and that's all the defenses. This interstellar spanning space empire only had the one planet. Oh, of course, we gotta recap. To be fair, I guess we do kind of have to recap, because you never know what episode someone's gonna jump in on. So as a way to make sure that any episode is viable for any random viewer, giving a recap at the start of every episode, at least that you know what we're doing, what we're up to. And not for nothing, they're usually a minute and a half long at the most. 1970s TV. You mean they're claiming it as their solar system, even though they've lost? Unless the narrator was talking about us. I thought that was a character in Gamilas saying that. They kind of look like the people from Galaxy Express 999. Not those people, the people in the hallway. I want anyone watching this to go watch Mom and Dad Save the Planet and listen to the Todd song. And imagine the Todd song is being sung at him.
では始めてくれたまえ。
ではこれからヤマトの愚かな航海ぶりについてご説明いたします。ですが紀元103年、801日に地球を出発したヤマトは、
Okay, alternate timeline.
802日、火星空域でワープのテスト。地球の宇宙船としては初めて高速
Does it imply that's also how old he is?
性能を証明いたしました。勢いを得たヤマトは、
Or, I mean, the days since he took control.
北西にある我が前線をピストルで撃破。
ヒス君、ピストルだったかね。
波動砲とやらですが、私の目にはピストルみたいなもので。
君の感想はいらん。事実だけを報告。
I mean, it's already more powerful than the reflector beam thing.
現在調子づいた状態で太陽圏を出てきたというところでございます。しかしデスラー総統、太陽圏を出たヤマトの前には相当のデスラー嫌いが絶対に破れぬ垣根を作っております。この封鎖線によってせっかくの高速突破第1号宇宙船ヤマトが紙飛行機よりも脆く燃え果てるざまを夕食後の座興に相当にお楽しみいただきたくご連絡申し上げたわけでございます。
But if they travel through warp, they'll just bypass this completely, won't they?
面白いアトラクションを用意してくれて。
Unless they exist both in warp and regular space at the same time, kind of like hyperspace to Star Wars.
ヤマトの無事を祈って乾杯しようではないか。
ヤマトの無事を祈ってか。こりゃ面白い。相当も相当冗談がお好きで。
How very Dr. Evil of him.
ガミラスに下品な男は不要だ。
To be fair, you never know, right? If he was expecting everyone to laugh, then he might have just like ran his fingers down and everyone dropped, except for the person laughing. I thought we were gonna warp. He just gave a whole speech about going to long warp. Well, I mean, it's not going to survive very long. We're just sending it into a minefield. But not close enough to trigger the entire minefield. Yeah, it's not a sphere. It's like a solid flat line almost. Up and over. Mobile mines, are they gonna chase it? I mean, just warp. Warp and you'll leave them behind. Warp straight up. They're in front of you. Warp up. just open fire on them with your anti-aircraft guns?
あの機雷の間隔を調べてみろ。
はい。
おい、古代。波動砲使えよ。
いや、ダメだ。エネルギーの補充が間に合わん。
In time of what? They're not
ロ
moving.
マとはなんだい、ヘボ運転手。
なんだと？
だってそうじゃないか、ヘボばっかりやがって。
二人ともやめろ。
艦長、機雷の間隔が分かりました。上下左右ともほぼ110メートルの間隔で並んでいます。
かろうじてすり抜けられそうだな。島、あの機雷の中を
You know, full speed it through the gap? They move.
補助エンジン始動。
I think it'd be easier to sit there and fire on them at range. But I guess you're not learning the same lessons that Gantz and Schultz didn't learn when they rammed you. And now you're ramming. Essentially. Because I assume that mines are going to move into the way. What happened to that other one that had a human skin tone? Or was that Schultz? Did Schultz turn blue at some point? Wasn't he like a white guy? Sorry, I apologize for saying he had a human skin tone. He looked like a white guy before. Yeah, why did they just suddenly stop moving? Also, why are you aggravating the pilot in the middle of this? They sweat for everything on the Yamato. Also, you know, not for nothing, could have been charging the wave motion gun the entire time.
艦長、突起物から電磁波を発しています。
島、気をつけろよ。電磁波に引っかかっても爆発するからな。
The pan back to show us how actually much worse it is. And that's commercial break. One weird guitar riff, sure.
いや、お前の上手なのは分かったよ。そこを曲げてなんとか止まってくれ、頼む。嫌だ。島、制動をかけろ。ああ。制動をかけます。制動をかけろ。制動をかけます。あった。今日はエンジンの性能テストでもやっとるのかな。止めたり動かしたり。
I guess down here, if they're not telling you what's going on, you never know.
それを見つけ出せ。はい。コントロール機雷の発信装置をまず取り除いてしまわねばならん。真田君、処置を頼むぞ。はい。アナライザー、アナライザー、アナライザー、アナライザー。ロボットが酒飲んじゃいかんちゅう法律はないんじゃ。
I guess you could, like, try and block the signal. There's a transmitter, you don't have to turn off the transmitter, you can just block its signal somehow.
水分 83%、エチルアルコール 15%。はい。どうじゃうまかろうが、うまかろうがな。
Yeah, but that was only 98%.
アナライザー仕事来でしょ
I guess thank God for everyone on the ship. No one's ever sick. Because his doctor is always fucking drunk.
ただいま
アナライザータルンドルドキ様
これだわ。行角5度の方向から異常発信がありました。
真田君大和行角5度方向にある機雷を探れ。わかりました艦長。発進します。アナライザー1秒でも早くコントロール機雷を発見しろ。
はいわかりました
妙なことを始めましたな。
機雷の動きをコントロールするものを突き止めているのだろう。指揮官なら当然の処置だよ。
I swear he wasn't blue before. That was my whole commentary about the difference between humans and Gamilas.
このままだと電磁波に触れてしまう。
サンタさん、まだコントロール機雷を発見できませんか？
まだだ。待っててくれ。艦長、このままでは危険です。島、船を倒せ。え？左傾斜5度。はい。命令が聞こえんのか？バカ者！船を倒せ。はい。船を倒します。左傾斜5度。
I don't think he should never have come in here. This was just a bad plan.
アナライザー、まだ発見できないか？
はい電磁波に邪魔されてコントロール波を選択するのが大変困難
言い訳を言うな。肝心の敵に酔っ払いやがって。つまらんところは成功にできているんだからな。まったく早くしろよ。作業が遅れたらヤマトは爆発するぞ。宇宙機雷15センチ接近。傾斜角度プラス5度。傾斜角度プラス5度。相原、真田君からの連絡は？まだ何もありません。傾斜角度プラス10度。
You know what this feels like? There was that one Star Trek episode where they got trapped in a, it's like a minefield, sucked the power out of the Enterprise, and Picard had to drag the Enterprise forward through the field while avoiding the minefield and everything in a shuttlecraft ahead of it. And it kind of feels like that, even though it's like not like that at all.
おい、しっかりやれよ、アナライザー。
大丈夫
宇宙機雷10センチ接近。傾斜角度プラス5度。島さん、気をつけてください。左舷の機雷が接触しそうです。艦長、船を倒して防ぐのも限界があります。艦長。まだか、早くしろ。ヤマトはそう持たんぞ。
発見この突起物の奥から発進。
よし、まずそのキャップを外すんだ。ショックを与えんようにな。
了解
It is a weird call
私は人間の10万倍も
to include a comedy bit, aka Analyzer getting drunk on sake, with the serious bit of he's responsible for not getting us all killed.
了解。上からは30分も何も言ってきませんね。一体何を考えとるんだ、あの艦長は。そう、その調子だ。ゆっくりだぞ。まっすぐ抜き取るんだぞ。
大丈夫みんな一度
Also, you'd think Analyzer would be the one who has an electromagnetic signal, which would, you know, activate the mine.
やったぞ。 アナライザー
Oh, you just hurl that thing off. It won't hit another mine.
一発間違ったらドカンだぞ
ただいま生産中答え出たこれだ
I will say I will be interested when we get to the next iteration of the show. If they keep all of the goofy shit,
ほら取れた
or
ぞ
if they go with a more serious angle.
でかしたぞアナライザー
So he didn't look to the general beside him and then instantly shoot him or push the button. So he hasn't gone full Dr. Evil like I thought he would.
ブラックタイガーの乗組員を連れてあの機雷を撤去してくれ君たちの手でやるんだはい我々の手で手ってこの手でありますかうんはい
Also, when did Kodai just lead the Black Tiger Squadron? I thought there was a Black Tiger Squadron leader. I swear he's on the board and everything. You know, it's a shame that Gamilas is watching this happen and everything, and doesn't have, like, a switch to just, like, detonate all the mines.
まあ見てるかすぐ道を開けてやるからな
ありがとう大変だな
無重力なもの軽い軽い人間の動きにはこいつら手も足も出んよ
ヒス君
はい
近頃物忘れをするようになってねあの嫌いは何という名だったかな
その相当の名をいただいてデスラー嫌いと相当の名を恥ずかしめた罪は重大ですどのようなご処分なりと
Nope, that's the attitude he likes.
まあまあヒス君君が恐れ入ることはないのだよ恐れ入ったのはこの私だ宇宙嫌いをまさか手で取り除くとはガミラス科学の粋を凝らしたデスラー嫌いでもそんなバカなことにまで対策を立てていなかった、まったく野蛮人の素朴な発想には教えられるじゃないかねそうじゃないか諸君
Really inconvenient mustache you got there, buddy. So I'm talking about the laughing thing. The other guy just laughed too early. I'm wondering if it's going to be a plot point that he had a different skin color in the earlier episodes than he does now. Like, is he going to be like an actual human who took over the Gamilas Empire and is faking being one of them? And that's why he's like kind of letting the Yamato get through?
Yamato の最後は見られなかったが結構楽しいショーだった諸君私への心遣い深く感謝しよう私はゆっくり眠りにつくとしようおやすみ諸君ああヒス君ヤマトの艦長は何と言ったかね
起きたでございます
How do you know that?
お見事だったと祝電を打って
Maybe I'm right. Maybe Analyzer is a spy.
はいデスラー相当
Although if he is a spy, he's a shit spy, because he helped them get through the minefield. So when are they fucking messaging us?
はいはいなぜ来た発信源を探るチャンスではなかったか申し訳ありませんまあいい艦長何と言ってきたんですかはいはい読め
大和諸君の健闘を称える今後の対決が楽しみだガミラス総統デスラ
デスラそれが敵の帝王の名なんですね
I mean, that's just like
面白くなって
the read of a leader who's bored.
波動エンジン始動全速前進
you know, actively rooting against yourself, having more entertaining foe. 311 days, so it's been 8 days since the last episode. Alright, subtitlers, tell me what you got this time. I'm not interested in the notes about who's listed as production, you know, assistant or whatever. I want notes about what happened in the episode. Any moment now, there we go. Starting the episode, the skin color of Gamilas was changed to blue. That's what I said. His story was due to the change of light, and the walking scene of Dessler was made accordingly. That's disappointing. However, the scene was not even discussed in Yamato-related books, and people believe the joke theory presented in Yamato's special Q&A magazine of 1977 issue of Out magazine. Ota handed over the message from Dessler that mistakenly drew Ota instead of Ahira. Okay, well, I mean, again, that says that my theory that maybe Dessler was a human who took over the Gamilas, untrue. It's just a production note. But then our people here in the subtitles said that there was a joke theory and listed what magazine it was set in, but just don't tell you what the joke theory is. I mean, that's disappointing. I would have liked to have known if the joke theory aligned with what I thought might actually be going on. I guess that's the problem when you get into exceptionally old anime in this respect. What, like 11 years after the first, not syndicated, after the first made-for-TV anime series was on the air, that the element of just production changes are just expected to be taken as they are, and not like an actual part of the show. I guess in that respect, maybe that's something that the next generation of Yamato, not next generation from me to the future generation, but the next generation from 1974 to whatever year the next one comes out, can improve upon. No production mistakes that would not have been made when they came out. I think it's fine for 1974 to like make these errors. We're still within the stepping stones of anime becoming what it is. So that's fine. Totally acceptable in my book. It's just, again, this is one of those episodes which essentially amounts to nothing. Unlike last episode where we did like literally nothing to advance ourselves, we at least did something emotional and gave us character weight. This episode was like, let's get into a minefield and then find the stupidest way through it. And then the Emperor of Gamilas is like, that was pretty fucking dumb. But I appreciate that that's the only way to beat us, with dumb tactics. It's fine. It's not going to be, even within the first 10 episodes, one of my favorite episodes. But, you know, I'm not going to hate on it. There was nothing to hate here. It was just boring kind of episode. So, that said, I really got nothing else to go with here. So I think we're going to go and call it. So once again, I've been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?